Everyone, welcome back to my kitchen. You are in the kitchen with KK, where I help you to discover your own passion for your own kitchen and how it can empower your health completely, like it has mine. So, I'm an integrative and functional health coach that has taken my love and early love of cooking back into the kitchen with my clients. And on this channel, I like to show you easy ways to fortify your health with really easy, tasty, delicious meals that are going to outperform any meals that you're going to pay 4 times the amount for out in a restaurant, where you can really deliver up the quality and the nutrients here in your home. So today we are going to take a look at, we're in November, right? Where it's getting toward the holidays. The decorations are already up. It is National Roasting Month. We're going to be talking about squash today. Squashes are definitely a representation of fall foods, which fortify. We want to fortify our lungs and our colon. And we also want nutrient-dense foods to bring forth all of that energy so that we can complete all of the amazing things that we started in the spring and that we're doing now, and have that energy and vitality to go through the holidays and not get zapped by too many sugary things, right? So I created a book called Simple Cooking for Vitality. The reason I bring it up is because, well, bioenergetic cooking is really just about helping you have a deeper reverence for food. That is the passion here, the no diet approach to looking at food for its power in different areas of the body. But I have so many recipes of different roasted squashes, and just starting right out in the colon section, you've got roasted spaghetti squash. You can leave it as a boat, and this will be a low carb alternative to stuff with. I'm making some homemade red sauce here with either a lentil meatball, or people love my bison meatballs that I make. So that is a low carb alternative with lots of potassium. We're looking at vitamin A, vitamin C. Those are different antioxidants that your body needs. We move to the heart section. And here we're talking about the electrolytes. We need magnesium, potassium. Over 75% of Americans are too low, and specifically those. And squashes are going to be super high in potassium, as well as a great amounts of magnesium, iron, and other things. And hold on, and a stuffed butternut squash. So you can get really creative with your squashes. I do a lot of education, so I do talk about different squashes, different times of the year. So besides vitamin A, starts with that beta carotene, that orange and deep yellows. Those are converted to vitamin A in the liver. So we want a healthy functioning liver for everything, not just during spring season. But vitamin C, of course, we need lots of vitamin C to keep up our immune system. We want iron to keep our blood oxygen flowing. Vitamin B6, all of those B vitamins are for energy, for brain, neurotransmitter health, and beyond. And hold on, we've got something going on over here. Just let me make sure it's not too high. And we're just cooking up the chickpeas because it is also National Vegan Month. Okay, so I do both plant-based. I'm more plant-rich myself. I have clients that are fully vegan. I have clients that digest meat well and they enjoy some. We also feed in some plant-based nutrition. But we're going to be cutting up these squashes. This is an acorn squash. This is in the same family. This is a carnival squash. So carnival squash, little sweeter. So you may want to start with this if you don't think this is sweet enough. But I do have another recipe in here. It's fantastic. It's with ginger and maple glazed acorn squash. You let it roast. So this is a time of the year to get that oven on and think about meal prep. Let me show you what's already done. So these squashes, acorn squash, are already stuffed with quinoa and bison, seasoned with onion and garlic and asparagus on top, fresh parsley. You can put it in a pan like this, make it ahead of time, and then warm it up when you're time to serve it. But we're going to be doing a vegan option. When you are roasting, throw in some sweet potatoes. Okay, this is a garnet sweet potato. You put them flat down. Just we're going to do it the same way as I do the squash, but this way you have some sweet potatoes that you can either put on like a bowl salad. You can also scoop them out and fill them with something, whether it be a bean mixture or not. So we're going to get this cut open. I'm going to show you how easy it is. You need to get squashes. I have a big bowl on the corner of my big center island here. It's filled with onions. It's filled with squashes, filled with sweet potatoes. You want to have your tools out so you can get creative and think about things. But to cut this squash, it's actually not hard when you have the right knife. Your knife needs to be a very sharp. This is the perfect knife for prepping, and I do a lot of prepping here. Get this just cut in half, and if it's a little hard, you just got to tap it down. This is a Santoku blade. Invest in your knives. Get a nice sharp blade. Keep them nice and sharp. You want 2 sizes here. A chef's knife is going to be thicker. See the thickness here? It's going to be a little harder for you to get through. You want a nice thin blade. And then when they're all cut out like this, you just take a big tablespoon and you just scoop it right around in a circle. You get all the seeds out in one scoop. So super duper easy. Another squash that I love at this time of the year, and I roast them whole, is a kombucha squash. That is like a winter squash. I grew up in Vermont with a huge garden. We have lots and lots of different things, but that is a little bit thicker and sweeter naturally. It's fantastic. So I like to throw it into the food processor and whip it up. It's a really beautiful side. You can put a little grass-fed butter in it, but you don't really need much. And don't be throwing a lot of sugar into your squashes. So especially now during immune season, just 1 teaspoon of extra sugar will lower your immune cells by 50%. So they're very much affected. All right, beautiful. All ready to go. See how quickly that goes? If you have a family of 4 or 6, you don't really need to cut many, and you're going to fill this hole. So you need to make sure that you always have parchment paper in your toolbox, as well as wax paper. Protect things, but parchment paper you're going to cook with. It's going to protect your pan, easier cleanup. We're going to start with these upright, and I'm going to flip them over, because if you do them all the way down, then the tops tend to get burnt a little bit too brown. So we'll flip them over, or you can start with them face down and then flip them over. It's up to you. We'll just start with them like this. I am just greasing them up with some high heat, either avocado oil or coconut oil. You want to use your high heat oils when you are roasting. This is at 400 degrees, and it's going to go, these are smaller. They should be done in 45 to 50 minutes. So we're going to start with just 25 minutes. And you can give them a little shake of salt and pepper. The salt that I'm using currently is called real salt, very high in the mineral content. Beautiful. Now, what we'll do is put a little cover over the top, allows the steam to help up with the cooking time. This is brilliant. We're going to get them in the oven and turn on. Timer. So the timer's on for 25 minutes. This pan is ready to go on my little countertop heating thingy here. So this is a coated all-clad pan. You can use this as steel. I do love all-clad. I love supporting American-made, and it's fantastic. Medium-high. We're going to turn it up a little bit. What I have here, the quinoa is already done, and we're just cooking up the chickpeas. I like to just bring them to a boil, which they are. So let me turn these down. And so we're going to saute up the onion, get it nice and translucent and fragrant, put in the garlic. We'll add some seasonings, get some carrots in there. This asparagus is wonderful for this. And we're adding in a few more things, and we'll get this stuff. So we'll be right back, and I'll get organized for all these next steps. So thanks for tuning in today. You know, it takes a lot to get these videos all together and out for you, but you know that I love what I do, and I'm so happy that you're here watching. So while the squash is roasting and you've got the timer set, it's easy for you to get things prepped here. What we're going to kind of make is almost like a side item that I make, almost like a rice pilaf, or you use with quinoa. So you're going to start with some onions, some garlic. You can put in some celery if you choose to. I don't have any right now, so I'm not putting it in. Some, this is box, the old style box shredder. Way better if you shred your own carrots than if you buy them already shred. They have this smell, so think about that. You can use your food processor or a box shredder to shred. The carrots are nice and big right now. We've got some chickpeas. Now, I'm not going to use all of them for this because I'm going to save some. It's always nice to have extra chickpeas to add to the top of a salad. Delicious amount of protein, fiber, and also potassium. And chickpeas are an alkaline bean as well. Very good. What spices I'm going to use? I'm going to use some fresh parsley, but I'm also going to put in some fresh rosemary. I want to bring in the fall season with some really rich aromatic rosemary. So I'm going to be saving this acorn squash for later in the week for our Friendsgiving. I'm going to be making the ginger maple glazed acorn squash. It's an amazing side. I love it. I've always brought it to Friendsgiving or to different Thanksgiving events in the past. So beautiful. So we've got the oil is already heated up. I had it a little too high at first, so I'll put it back up there. We want to get the onions translucent. I don't have them cubed. I have them in slices, but not too big. I like a little texture difference. It's fine to cube them if you're going to be putting them in a soup or something, but a little texture differences here is really nice, especially in seeing them. So let's get those going and get that smell going. While they're going, we're going to cut up the asparagus. Now we're going to use the tips to put on top, and that goes on toward the end. I don't like to overcook them. Asparagus is a natural form of glutathione production in the body, very high next to avocados. So asparagus has so many great things about it, naturally nurturing to your urinary tract as well. So, and it's a natural diuretic. There's so many great things about asparagus. We often get them a little bit too much cooked. But if you're out at a restaurant getting a grilled, lightly grilled, hopefully they're not doing it in bad oils, grilled asparagus, excellent choices there. So we've just cut the tops off. But what I'm going to do to the bottoms is I'm just going to cut them into little chunks. We're going to put those little chunks in here. So now you're not wasting anything. You don't have long pieces of asparagus, just have the tips for the top. And we're going to enrich the veggies inside with some smaller pieces of the asparagus. So just stack them up like it's pieces of wood and cut through them. You'll find your own rhythm on how to make things easier, but I do a lot of meal prepping. So when I'm working with clients or on these channels, I just try to give you little tips that I find to work well. We'll just toss this around. They're already getting a little bit translucent and fragrant here. What I've done is I've rough cut garlic. I like a lot, so I don't just stop at 2 cloves. There's probably 3 or 4, depending on the size in there. I just rough cut them up, especially if we're going to be grilling them. We just want the flavor to come out, which is really, really nice. A little bit of sea salt. You want to keep the salt that we add a little bit down. Rather than over salting, you cannot take salt out, but you can always add some more. A little pepper. So this is brilliant. Let me grab a couple more things. We'll be right back. So thanks for tuning in as we stuff these squashes. Please get inspired to try different squashes. There's so many. And sometimes it can be intimidating, but they're so easy to deal with. Let's get the spices fired up and in here. Real spices, real flavor, not flavor packages or, MSG added or other chemicals that excite neurotransmitters or act like an amphetamine. We don't want that kind of flavor. We want real flavor from real herbs And rosemary, if you breathe in rosemary, it's so settling to the brain. It's amazing. It just reminds you of everything good about the fall. So you just back it right off the spine, put it in a little pile. You can use your chef's knife here. It's a little firmer to get through this. And just rough chop these up. Beautiful. Make sure you invest in a board scraper, a simple $10 item that works amazing. We love it. So let me turn that back up. Okay, another spice is gray herbs de Provence. You're gonna have thyme. Now you could just put thyme in here by itself, but this is a nice blend. It works really, really great, especially with the rosemary. So let's get some of the spices going in here and the rosemary. Let's add in the asparagus bottoms. So I'm just adding the ones that are a little firmer. We'll add the carrots later since they're shredded. They don't need much cooking. We don't want to overcook the veggies. We want them to be soft, but we don't want them to be overcooked and mushy. Now, another way to enjoy your asparagus, you've heard me talk about this before, is just put the asparagus into a food processor and whip it up just like you're making either broccoli rice or cauliflower rice. I love mixing them. It's a great mixture of cruciferous veggies and asparagus. Great way to get those nutrients. You can just add it into a salad. And now you're getting those raw nutrients so they're not heated. Very important. This is smelling incredible. I'm going to add just a little bit more of the avocado oil. Now, to allow that to cook a little bit better, you can just put a cover on top. And let that get a little soft. So I always make more quinoa that I'm going to be using in a recipe because you can freeze it. You can keep it in the fridge. It keeps a very long time. It's an alkaline, non-grain. It's a seed. It's good amount of protein, and it is got lots of great fiber. And I only use one brand. I'll show you. It makes a huge difference in the quality and experience. It's going to be fluffier and softer, so it's more like a comfort food. But this brand, the True Roots Sprouted, anything that is sprouted, better nutrient profile, easier on the gut. So this is perfect. You can get the tricolor or just the plain. I have both. I keep them in a jar. But definitely before the holidays or right after, it's a great time to go through your pantry, toss out all the junk, read your labels, get rid of the seed oils for sure. Make sure you've got jars, things are labeled. Organization makes your life so much easier in the kitchen, just like having an organized office space. You can find things, you feel in control, your stress level goes down. In the kitchen, it's about creating with good music. Maybe you have family around, you're talking. And you're also infusing your body's ability to digest because it's smelling the food, it's getting involved, and you're seeing where food comes from. It doesn't just show up on your plate, and you're not confined to a menu. You might not even see some of this stuff. People are not serving stuffed acorn squashes at restaurants. So you're getting something really unique, easy, and super nutrient dense. And that's what you want at home. So right away, you put the cover on, the steam, it's going to help to bring out that brightness of the asparagus. That's what you want. You want it to be bright green. You don't want it overcooked. Let's get the carrots in there. Now we've got a really great mixture. More beta carotene added here with the carrots. Natural sweetness. Look at this mix, how awesome that looks. So this is so beautiful. Now's a good time to get the chickpeas in there. I brought them to a boil already because I like to have some extras to put onto my salad. And when they're in a can, I like to just bring them to a boil. So the can is a 15 ounce, which is a little bit under 2 cups. I'm just going to add a little here. So depending on how many people you're cooking for, you can adjust this. This is how creativity works in the kitchen. Just amazing and easy and fun. You've seen me the way I store my herbs. This is fresh parsley. I actually put my organic herbs and greens, like my dandelion green soaking. I put them through an ozonator. The ozone helps to keep, the bacteria and junk off because they're spraying the stuff in the store, and it also brings them back to life because ozone is like super oxygen. Beautiful. So we're going to put some fresh parsley on top. Parsley, like all the herbs, not only do they have the flavor, they have phytonutrients. Okay, this is great stuff for your body. It's a natural diuretic as well. Strong nutrient loads, that's what we want. I'm going to save some of this quinoa for my own personal salads. Let's get this turned down just a little bit. So I'm going to put a cup of that in here. So the way that I add more nutrients to my quinoa, depending on if I'm making it for vegans or keeping it plant-based, add it to a broth. So you can get an organic vegetable broth. If you're doing it with the meat, either a beef, you can even do a bone broth, a beef or a chicken, if you're doing it with some animal protein. And that way you're getting more nutrients in here. You can even slip in a little kombu or seaweed to get in some natural iodine and other nutrients. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put some of the asparagus tips on top. I'm going to save some for my salads, and we're going to get the cover back on. And we're just going to let that get a little bit soft, and then we will be right back when we flip those squashes. So the timer just went off. Let's take a look at the squash. This is already ready to go. So we're just putting it on low here. Now I'll show you how we flip them. Very simple. It's just that if you cook them the entire time flipped upside down, the edges tend to get, it's very, very simple here. We're just gonna flip them over, and then you're just gonna kind of gauge like how much longer. So they have at least 20 minutes left. So we're gonna put them back into the oven. That parchment paper on top really, really helps. Okay, fantastic. So you can see this is all ready to go. You see the beautiful colors here. Now, if you want this to be more kid-friendly or a little more fall-friendly, two things that you can add to this. One, you can add some apples to it. Delicious pops of apple in a fall recipe make this delightful. In fact, my stuffed acorn squash in the heart section of my book has some apples in it. Or you can put in these are unsweetened cranberries, dry cranberries. Most dry cranberries that you get in the store are added sugar. No, no, no. Or you can add some just regular ones, but you can buy these on the Amazon. Just look for ones that are unsweetened. They're nice and they're big. They're bigger and chunky. So you can add some of these. You can add them to the top. We'll dress it up when we're ready to get those squashes going. So we'll be back when the squash is ready to be stuffed. You see how easy this recipe is, and it's so filling and so yummy, and it just looks spectacular on a plate. Okay, just took our beautiful squashes out of the oven. They are ready to be stuffed. All you need to do is take a sharp knife and poke it through. Make sure it's nice and soft. You don't want it overcooked. Now you see there's a little bit of cooking, a little bit of burning on the edge. So that's why we start them face up, or we start them face down and then switch them out. Let's get the hot pan out of the way. Now I've chosen this. This is a Le Creuset round kind of casserole. You can put them on individual plates. You can put them in a big and allow people to choose them. or, you know, just put it on a plate and then overstuff them. We're just going to put them in here for now. And I'm going to use a measuring cup. Now you see we have extra stuffing. This extra stuffing is perfect because it's a nice side, or it's you can eat it cold with greens. So this is really amazing to have a little bit of extra. I've just put the asparagus tips to the side. We're going to put those on top for a beautiful decoration. And so let's get at least a nice big half a cup inside and just let it flow over. And then, so here's some of those beautiful cranberries. Now do some research. They're very easy to find, unsweetened and no added oils. Some people add oils to them as well. You just want pure cranberries, dried. So this adds some bright red and a little bit of fun to these. Like I said, you can also add some cut up apples. Now you're getting a little bit of texture. So let's get these topped off. And this is just gorgeous. Such a beautiful fall dish, fully vegan. Let's get a little bit of parsley on top. Now, the reason I keep my parsley in jars in the refrigerator is so I can see it and it stays fresh, not all mushy. And in that way, you can grab out some to top on your soups or different recipes like this. You should be adding it to your salad greens. So many ways to use fresh parsley. I'm going to put some on. Now you're going to have some more fresh smell. You can smell as soon as you chop up the herbs, that beautiful oil comes out. And now we have a gorgeous, full nutrient dense, plenty of protein, fiber, and all the nutrients that your cells need to do their job. So thanks for tuning in today as we celebrate November, National Roasting Month, National Vegan Month, and actually, I think we're actually close to National Clean Out Your Fridge Day. So there's so many things to get done before the holidays. It's a really great idea. But now you can also make sure you have these beautiful prep dishes. You take off the top, you can heat this up in a small countertop oven. I'm going to be putting the extras and stuff like this. This is where you get your meal prep to bring to work the next day to add to a salad. So thanks for tuning in. In your kitchen is where you can enhance and empower your health, because you cannot out-supplement a bad diet, and inflammation does not go away unless you change your food. So thanks for tuning in to KK's Fit Kitchen, and have a wonderful evening.